section 6.1 is translating between when you have a fraction in the exponent, how does that look in radical form to start out. And this is this unit is about the radical function family. So eventually we'll graph, y equals the square root of x. What's that shape look like? Y equals the square root of x. It looks like a half of a parabola. Yeah. So for now, this is the formula for how to do this. And so it's, if you have like a, and there's a fraction raised to the m over n power, then what that fraction means is the number on top in the numerator stands for the power, what you're raising it to, and the number in the denominator, that n, stands for the root. So that's kind of like the formula. So it would be basically a raised to the m power and then the nth root. So there's a little radical and n. And that's kind of the formula you want to be able to go back and forth. It helps you to simplify and solve equations, is really the key. And then of course the equations model things in real life, and you'll get to do some applications. So here's a series of examples of practicing going back and forth. So let's say I want to know, number one is like negative 125 raised to the 1/3 power. Raised to the 1/3 power. Negative 125 raised to the 1/3 power. Having a fraction in the exponent is just awkward. We just really don't want to do it. So what we would do is translate that to the cube root of negative 125 raised to the 1 power, because the numerator is the power and the denominator is the root. And now we can do this problem. Negative 125 to the 1 power is the same thing. We don't even need that little 1 there. What is the cube root of negative 125? I'm going to want you to try to do them in your head when you can. Just kind of guess and check. What number, when you multiply it by itself repeatedly 3 times, will give you negative 125? It has to be negative 5, right? Because we can check, right? Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25, times negative 5 is negative 125, right? Now you might be wondering, yeah, but we can't have a negative under the radical, but why are we allowed to have a negative under the radical here? What's the root we're taking? Cube root. That's okay. You can have odd powers, but you can't take the square root. You can't take the square root of a negative number. But the cube root, yes. Any odd root you can. Good. Okay. So the answer is negative 5. Let's try another one. Number 2. Let's try 81 to the 1/4 power. So what root am I taking here? The 4th root. So it says 81 to the 1 power, which is the same as 81, and then take the 4th root. So it's really just asking for the 4th root of 81, which is, well, let's try 2. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. No, that wasn't big enough. Let's try 3. Did that get it? Do a little mental math? Yeah, that's it. So that's 3. So in your homework tonight, you'll see a section that says with calculator and without. So be sure that you do that accordingly. Let's try something else. 4 raised to the 5/2 power. Let's try a fraction that looks a little different. So that's saying 4 raised to the 5th power and then take the square root. But the order doesn't matter. So we can do this in our head. If I raise 4 to the 5th power, I'm going to get a big number, so don't do that first. Take the root. What's the square root of 4? 2. So this is the same as 2 to the 5th power, which is a little, so that is, you could do it in either order. You'll end up with the same answer. So 2 to the 5th is 32. Yeah. 2 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, let's try this one. 9 to the negative 1/2. What did I just throw in that problem that's different? I put a negative in, but we already know how to deal with negative exponents. How do I make it into a positive 1/2? Flip it, take the reciprocal. So I'm going to do 1 over 9 to the 1/2 power. And that already simplified things, because now I don't have a negative exponent. And so, can you tell me what to the 1/2 power means? You take the what? Half of 9? Is it 9 times a half? It's 9 raised to the 1/2 power, right? So it's 9 to the 1 power square root, right? That's what to the 1/2 power means. And so, what is that? 9 to the 1 is 9. Square root is? Yeah, so it's just 1/3. Let's try, okay, so why don't you try this one, 81 raised to the 3/4 power. We have two more. 81 raised to the 3/4 power and 1 raised to the 7/8 power. So you just try it without looking up. And try not to, you shouldn't need your calculator.